Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Surviving the Badge. I'm your host, Ronnie, my co-host, Camille, my co-host, John, and tonight we're going to be talking about the Markeith Loyd trial and the events leading up to that. It's going to be a really interesting show. I know it touches a lot of hearts in the law enforcement community, especially locally, and we'll get into all that in a little bit. John, I think we're going to talk about our beer moment.
Yeah, we're going to have a beer moment here. Tonight we're going to try Mayport Red. It's a red ale made by the Atlantic Beach Brewing Company in Atlantic Beach.
Oh, and it's foaming. It's foaming. Put it over the glass, please.
Hey, that's what you get when you're doing live video.
All right, so this is a beer from the Atlantic Beach Brewing Company out of Atlantic Beach, Florida. And it is called Mayport Red. See if you can see it right here in my camera. Yep, Mayport Red. And it is 5% alcohol. Actually pretty good.
Try it. The counter. Hoppy though.
It is a little hoppy. Yep, it's got some hops to it.
I was kind of thinking it might be more of a Killian's Irish Red, but it's definitely got that
IPA
flavor to it.
So it's an IPA red.
Yeah, so I'll probably go ahead and give it a 6.5.
6.5. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give it. I do like the red. I like the color. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give it a 6.5 also.
I'm not a big IPA person, so I'm not going to be as generous as you guys. It's not a bad beer. It's a little smooth, but I'm going to give it like a 5.
5. That's his lowest rating yet.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and thank our sponsors. This episode is brought to you today by our sponsors, Kenny's Groceries, which is located on 1792 and French Avenue in Orange City. They have a crap ton of craft beers. Go in there and get yourself some. And also, our second sponsor is CNR Constructors, and Ronnie will talk about them.
CNR Constructors is a general contractor located in Central Florida. They do commercial build-outs. They do residential remodels. And just about anything construction-wise you need done, CNR Constructors can take care of that for you for sure. All right.
So a little side note, this feels like that SNL sketch, with the Bears, Dub Bears.
Dub Bears. Why? Because we're spilling dub beer.
balls,
All right, so in this section, we're going to talk about the fallen officers since our last episode. This year, there's been a rise of about 33% more than last year. Officers killed in the line of duty were just over 400 officers killed in the line of duty. And every category has risen from, like I said, a total of 33% increase from last year. Gunfire up 23%, and auto-related also up 23%. So be careful out there, guys and ladies.
For sure.
John, I think you're on.
Well, speaking of being careful, we're going to talk about the Markeith Loyd case. We're all from Central Florida, and this case is very personal to those of us in the Central Florida area. Markeith Loyd was just convicted on 5 counts on Wednesday, November 3rd. He was convicted of 5 counts in the shooting death of Lieutenant Debra Clayton from the Orlando PD.
Yep.
He was convicted of first-degree murder with a firearm of a law enforcement officer, attempted first-degree murder with a firearm of a law enforcement officer, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, carjacking with a firearm, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Like I said, he was convicted of those 5 charges on Wednesday. The penalty phase for his trial, or for him, starts on Saturday, November 13th. And go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you a question. Just as a legal standpoint, how do we murder somebody and get charged with attempted first-degree murder?
Well, actually, I believe that the reason they can go with the attempted is because they didn't kill her on the first shot.
Well, okay, so that's what I was wondering. I mean, was the first shot, that's the attempt, and then...
Right.
Okay.
Because the evidence indicated that she was shot, fell down,
Right.
and then he approached and shot her.
Gotcha, okay.
So
I was
that's why you
wondering
get,
about that.
you get multiple things. the penalty phase.
Should we explain why the state attorney puts all of these in there? Isn't it that in case they don't get a conviction on one, because the jury instructions are probably, okay, maybe found not guilty on this one, but guilty on this one. So you don't want to have just one charge, where the jury can come in and.
Although the carjacking and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon that was more from the escape from that scene.
Right.
But yes, you do charge whatever you can, as long as it's not just a strictly lesser included.
Right.
You charge what you can. But as far as the penalty phase, it starts on Saturday. It's a fairly recent change in Florida due to Supreme Court decisions, but now all 12 jurors must be unanimous to get the death penalty.
Right.
If not all 12, and the judge signs off on it, then it will be life in prison.
Yeah, they made a lot of changes because it was the judge that was sentencing to the death penalty, and the U.S. Supreme Court said, no, we need to make it a jury, like you were saying, yeah.
So,
But I thought, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
so the jury has to be unanimous, and the judge has to sign off.
Right.
And that's in compliance with the Supreme Court decision that handles that. And
It's funny because there was a few people that talked about when I was watching it on live on Fox. There was a few people that were saying, "Well, why isn't he getting the death penalty?" And I'm like, or they says something. It was something like, "Well, he didn't get the death penalty for her. Why is he getting the death penalty for the cop? Is it just the cop?" And what did they charge him with or convict him of for the girlfriend's murder?
he was charged with, I believe, first degree murder.
Second degree?
I think it was first degree murder, and also he was charged with first degree murder of her unborn child.
But they must not. They
get the
must
death
not have. The state attorney at the time must not have sought the death penalty in that case.
Was that what's her name?
I believe that Governor DeSantis. No, was it? Yeah, it was DeSantis.
Replaced her.
Took Aramis Ayala, who's the state attorney for Orange County, removed her from all death penalty cases.
Yes.
Or death penalty eligible cases.
Right.
Because she came out and said, "I will not take the death penalty in any case."
Right.
And he said, "Sorry, state of Florida says we have the death penalty, so if you're not going to do it, anytime."
Is she up for elections?
Right.
I believe she was up for re-election.
Yeah, I thought so too. So what's the background on this guy?
Okay, so Markeith Loyd is, numerous charges. and all
Scumbag
that stuff.
McGee.
And he has a significant history on Facebook and other social media, basically hating cops and saying he's going to take them out and things like that. So back in 2017, January 2017, he was identified as a suspect in the murder of his pregnant ex-girlfriend, which you referenced before, Sade Dixon. And he was convicted in October of 2019 of that case. The reason the separation, the time frame is so different is because when they were preparing for the Debra Clayton murder trial, COVID happened.
Yeah. There's been a lot of
all that stuff.
Right.
Okay, so he was a prime suspect, known to be a bad dude, trouble, and all that stuff. They anticipated problems trying to arrest him. On January 9, 2017, Lieutenant Debra Clayton was advised that Markeith Loyd was inside a Walmart in Orlando, and he was about ready to exit the store, and he was wearing a bulletproof vest and a security shirt.
Security, that's what I heard.
Yeah, basically, hey, I'm not a bad guy.
Right, I'm security.
Why are you wearing a bulletproof vest?
Right.
Okay. Knowing the fact that he was named the primary suspect.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it wasn't I don't think they know I did it. They knew he did it. So she attempted.
It wasn't a whodunit.
Not really.
No.
It wasn't. We haven't convicted him yet, but I believe he shot Sade Dixon's brother as well.
Yes.
And he was the eyewitness who said, "You did it." So I mean, we're good. So anyway, Lieutenant Clayton attempts to detain him. He took flight around the building. She pursued him, and I believe there was only an ear witness to the incident
Okay.
who heard one shot
Right.
and then heard several more.
Okay. Now, I was watching some of the trial, and he was saying that he just walked out and she started shooting at him.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, dude. This guy's whacked.
Right. I agree.
Okay.
So read through the beer stained paper.
Again. I just want to take another moment, though. I want to make reference to the fact that because obviously when this happened, OPD, Orlando PD, Orange County Sheriff's Office, they're in super response mode. Everyone's coming.
10:24, we're on our way.
I'm glad you're going to say this because I was going to say
So
it.
I do want to make reference to the fact that Orange County Sheriff's Office Deputy Norman Lewis, who's a motorcycle officer, he also died that day. He was involved in a fatal crash, responding to assist
On a motor.
on a motor. So, we're talking about Markeith Loyd, Lieutenant Clayton, obviously. She was a pillar of the community as far as everyone has said. She was an SRO. The kids loved her. And she was great for her community. Norm Lewis apparently was the same way. He was a giant man, but he was that, big old teddy bear.
Right.
And I think Chick-fil-A down in Orange County actually set up a table for him, and that's Norman's spot.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, he's amazing. I met him when we did some of the motor stuff. Amazing guy. I met her because, as you know, her husband used to work for the city where we worked, and he was a super guy, and he was just absolutely fantastic, and just could not, even before this happened, talked about all the stuff that she used to do with the kids and everything else. They were saying we had an echo going on. I don't know if it's because the other mics for the other cameras were on. If it's gotten better, guys, I tried to shut off some of the audio from the other ones. I didn't think it was on. Can you just let us know, please?
Yeah, definitely. We're trying new things. Ronnie's all every day. He's like a mad scientist with cameras and microphones.
cameras going now.
Yeah, we tried to give it a little better viewpoint, of what we're talking about. You can see us a little better. I don't know if that's any better. Look at this.
You notice you don't have a close up of me. Thank God. You're welcome.
That was his choice. I wanted to put a camera right here, and he goes, no.
Nobody wants that.
So, anyway.
I have a question, John. Why did they not charge him with felony murder of the motor officer? Because the statute says anybody who dies as a result of your committing a felony, you're charged with murder.
It's very hard to attach that, even though there's a correlation.
Right.
There's not causation.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so you can't necessarily. Yeah, certainly he responding to the area had this not happened.
Right.
But
That's what I'm thinking.
okay, but
Okay.
then
And they probably figure, what's not muddy to waters.
correct.
Okay. I got you.
Okay. Now, one of the things that happened in the trial, the prosecution stated that Markeith Loyd shot at Lieutenant Clayton first, and of course Loyd claims no, Clayton fired first.
Okay.
Now let me ask you a question: does it matter?
No.
Why?
Because if you're in the wrong, you're not allowed to use deadly force to protect yourself if you are committing a crime.
Okay, now,
That's my understanding.
well, now let me
of
ask you
deadly
a question though.
I mean, I'm a murderer, right? I don't think you're allowed. I'm obviously not.
Well, at what point? Okay, because
Can you defend yourself?
Well, no. Well, there's no argument, no allegation whatsoever from Loyd
Right.
that he was confused as to who Lieutenant Clayton was.
No, she was in uniform.
She was in uniform.
Yep.
She was attempting to detain him. What force can a citizen use in order to defeat the officer legally?
Well, so you're getting into a lot of issues because if you're being,
You can't.
well,
There is
You
no
cannot resist arrest at all, even if it's an illegal arrest. If a law enforcement officer known to you to be a law enforcement officer is affecting an arrest, I went through this on an internal.
No,
And it was
I
proven
get.
they cannot resist the efforts of the officer.
I get that,
Now they can protect themselves if they believe
That's
that
what I'm
they're
saying.
being murdered.
Right. That's
They can
that's
protect
that's
themselves.
the only thing I'm saying.
Right.
Because that's why, and it's a little off topic, but it's not really. That's why they really got rid of no-knock warrants.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody's smashing into my house. Shit, I'm being home invaded. I'm going to start popping rounds. Don't and that's on the officer.
Right.
If an officer walks up to me and starts shooting at me, and I didn't do anything wrong, and if I shoot back at the officer, and this is all on video, am I going to go to prison for that?
I don't know.
I mean, and the point I'm trying to make is, number one, he knew he was the prime suspect in the murder.
Yes. He didn't run away either.
He ran
He
from,
engaged.
he ran, then engaged. Okay. Now, we don't know what Lieutenant Clayton saw.
Right.
But he's wearing a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
He obviously had a gun on him. At what point did he display that weapon and point it at her?
Right. There's a lot of what
And then
ifs.
but what point does an officer have the right to fire first anyway?
Right.
If he's raising that weapon at her?
Well,
And this was a big dude.
It goes even farther than that. So if you look at Tennessee v. Garner, if she can articulate that he is a violent threat of life to the
Subject factors and
anybody around, then
Right.
yes, she can use deadly force. It's
Right.
It's in
a violent fleeing felon.
right. He is a
Which is
violent
likely to
fleeing felon.
commit
Right.
violence again.
Absolutely. So
So-
she could. Let's say she lived, and it comes out that she fired against him. She could articulate Tennessee v. Garner.
If I didn't take him out, he was going to go kill someone else.
Absolutely. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Okay.
So one of our callers,
Listeners, watchers.
one of our listeners, keep your place. One of our listeners wanted to know, a black man shot a black police officer. Where was the BLM, the NAACP, the Black Panthers, and everybody else? Why weren't they down there raising hell? I mean, we know the answer to that
Yeah.
because it was a black on black, but I mean,
Because
if they're protecting rights of everyone, which they say they do, where were they?
yeah,
you know,
BLM Inc. is a political organization. That's why.
Yes.
yeah, funded by we know who.
Yeah. All right, John.
So now we're going to get to some things about the trial.
Okay, while you're at a transition point,
Yes.
do a couple of real fast shout outs. Joey piped in. Oh, a new listener, Dave Sylvester popped in. Jody popped in.
Hey.
Jan Cloth popped in,
All right.
enjoying her retirement, I'm sure.
Right.
Debbie White, same thing. Debbie, glad to see you come in. Curtis finally made it to the show. He's the owner of our company that's one of our sponsors.
CNR Constructors.
Yep, and
Got it right.
and Ryan popped in.
Nice.
Good to see everybody, guys. That's awesome. Thank you for tuning in. All right, trial.
Trial.
So obviously the trial was delayed due to COVID. But a couple of quotes from Terrence Lenneman, who is Lloyd's defense attorney, which I should reference. At first, Markeith Loyd wanted to defend himself, which
course
would
he
have
did.
been hilariously brutal
Yeah,
if he had defended himself.
and I thought he did
Right.
until I started
He
watching
will.
the trial, and he had a defense attorney.
Okay,
there.
so a couple of quotes he's made,
I'll put it over the glass.
and I'm going to ask you guys.
Fuck! What the hell, man?
I'm going to ask you guys what you think of these
Jesus.
quotes. Where's the rest of them? You got the rest of
Ronnie's
them?
got it.
Yeah, they're over here.
I don't know. Open your
Okay.
Now I know why the guy was selling us so cheap.
Okay, like I said, Lloyd was acting in self-defense, and he believes
Right.
Lieutenant Clayton fired first. We've kind of
I just don't
went
think.
over-
I don't
it's
think
kind
that.
of
I don't
irrelevant.
think that argument washes.
Because you don't. Self-defense is you did nothing wrong.
Right.
Sort of like the stand your ground law.
Right.
and
You can't be.
everything.
You can't be committing
You
a
can't-
crime.
Correct. Okay.
Garbage.
And then another thing he says is he's hearing gunshots. This is all happening in a matter of seconds to excuse
Yeah.
all of this. Okay, again, this is something that he caused.
Yes.
Okay, and then this is one of my favorites. Once the gunfight is on, he's reacting and she's still firing. What does the state want to happen? For him to turn around and run away while he has a gun pointed at him when she fired at least twice?
Yes.
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 That's what the law requires you to do.
Or giving yourself up.
Yeah, how
Yes.
about giving yourself up? Right.
Yes.
She wouldn't have fired if he'd have given himself
wouldn't have
up to
fired
begin
once.
with.
As soon as she saw him and he saw her and she said, "Stop, police."
If he was throwing
stop.
his hands up and went to his hands and knees, or his knees,
You got me.
put his hands over his head like this, she'd have called back up, held him at gunpoint, and the whole goddamn thing would have been over with, and she would have been able to raise her kids and enjoy the rest of her life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it. Screw that piece of shit, and I hope he gets the death penalty. Sorry,
you
God.
ruined the ending.
I said I hope he gets the death
But
penalty.
that was going to be the question at the end.
Oh, it does say
Okay.
it does say screw that piece of shit right there.
So anyway, in the aftermath of Lieutenant Clayton's being shot, U.S. Marshals are brought in. Virtually every Central Florida law enforcement agency and state agency were involved in the manhunt of this guy. I believe the reward got up to $100,000 for any information leading to the arrest of Markeith Loyd. He was arrested on January 17th of 2017, and
He was hiding out in an abandoned house or something.
yes.
Yeah.
And there were allegations of police brutality. The state attorney did not file charges on that.
I think the grass was a little slippery.
Well, I wouldn't even go there because you know what? And I'm not.
A few
trying to-
guys fell down.
I'm not trying to make light of this. Okay, if this guy resisted like he did before, you have to take swift, definite action to make sure. You don't know if he's got a weapon on him. You don't know what's going on. You've got
The
to
cops do not have to retreat.
exactly.
They do not.
And I do know that they found a Glock with a drum magazine
Yes.
with
Yeah,
him.
and the cops, guys, for those of you that aren't law enforcement, most of you are, but that aren't law enforcement, police officers do not have to retreat in the face of danger. Sometimes, yes, it is a good option. It is a good alternative. If you're outmanned, outgunned, everything else, it's a damn good idea. Throw it in reverse and haul ass. Bring in the cavalry. But we do not have to retreat. We can stand there and unload every magazine we have and stay in the fight. There's nothing that says we have to retreat.
Your dad and I had a rifle pointed at us when we walked into a room. We backed out like, oh shit, we're about to get shot. We retreated out and then we regrouped.
Got the cavalry and
Yeah.
What was
Did
it
the
Wayne
job.
Ivey said? Sheriff Wayne Ivey of Brevard County said
uh,
you can't kill evil enough.
Yeah.
You know, when they asked how come his deputy shot someone so much.
Yeah.
no, it was
No, that was Wayne
never
Ivey.
stopped.
and Grady
Grady Judd.
Judd says,
"Why did you shoot him 188 times?"
we ran out of bullets.
So, Florida has some wonderful sheriffs. I'll just tell you
Yes,
that. They do support their officers.
So, I just real quick, what Ronnie was saying is law enforcement, you see that thin blue line. Law enforcement is that line. You have evil and you have regular citizenry. We are that line. If we retreat, then you become the victim.
And once that line goes away, there's anarchy.
Yep.
I mean, absolute
Look at
complete
Portland.
anarchy.
Look at all the
Yeah.
all the cities and states.
How many
that-
blocks did they take over?
Oh yeah.
Like
4 or
5
5 or
city
9
blocks.
or
And
whatever.
that police chief, she was amazing.
Well, that's
and then
Seattle,
they forced
Carmen.
her out. Oh, was it Seattle? Okay.
Seattle, Carmen
Seattle,
West.
yeah.
Portland, they defunded their police department like $20 million. And Mayor Ted Wheeler of Portland just asked to get $5 million more added to their budget.
Yeah, wait, that's weird.
Seattle is given $25,000 signing bonuses.
Yeah, and they're down. Well, I just read it the other day. 300 or something like that due to retirements and just people leaving and everything else. I mean, they're begging for cops.
The thin blue line in those cities is very, very thin.
Oh yeah,
And they're trying to make it thinner.
yeah, they are.
Okay, so Markeith Loyd was convicted, and then while the jury was out, he asked for a mistrial due to the fact that the prosecution lied, and his attorney did poorly.
Well, that's always a an appeal issue, failure to properly defend.
Yeah,
whatever.
he didn't use the ineffective counsel.
Oh, that's
he just
what- yeah.
said. He said they think they're intelligent. They ignore everything.
Curtis
It-
said,
it-
what happened to the rest of John? Said he's looking great.
Thanks, Curtis.
He's lost a bunch of weight. He looks good. Camille's down, what, 40?
35, yeah.
35? I'm up 10.
Here, let's give him some more.
Did you watch him on the stand?
I did not.
He's not legally, criminally insane, but he's out there.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, cops are trying to kill me. Cops, the only thing
Talking
cops
about Lloyd?
want to do,
Yeah.
only thing cops want to do is kill black people, and that's in his head.
I've got to say something about that because I hear that all the time. Cops are out hunting black people.
Right.
Cops are out hunting black people. I got to tell you, cops must be they must be worse hunters than Elmer J. Fudd. Okay, because I can tell you, I probably encountered 15, 25,000 blacks while on duty, probably more. I couldn't even think of how many I came in contact with. Never shot one of them.
Really? It's weird.
Really?
Yeah, and what's funny is they think that we only stop them because they're black, driving while black, DWB.
Now, understand.
And I'm
it's
like,
not-
now wait a minute. I guess my X-ray vision when I'm running that laser and I'm shooting down the road at 1,000 yards, I'm going to. Oh, this is a black guy coming up.
But even better
it's
is
not-
you're on the bridge calling it out to me.
Yeah, it's
Because you said
it's
it's the white car. With the black driver.
Unfortunately, it's a very, very small percentage that thinks that way.
yes, thank God.
There is.
And
God.
There is.
but they're making the loudest noise.
Absolutely.
Everybody, the vast majority of people,
You know it's a
understand-
crock of crap.
Right. Understand that law enforcement is just trying to do their best with what
Right.
they have. You're getting it from the bad guys. You're getting it now from the cities and the states and now the feds. It's a tough situation, but it is a very, very small percentage that says that law enforcement is evil, and there has been police officers that have done wrong, and you know what the thing is, who hates a dirty cop more?
Dirty cop.
Yeah, cops.
Cops hate dirty cops more than anybody else on
Absolutely.
this planet because
Because
it makes everybody
it
look
makes
bad.
us all look bad. It's
Right.
terrible.
So, all right. So, Ronnie, what was it like to work in Central Florida during that week when he was on the run?
Oh man, it was crazy. We sent, I don't even know how many units we sent down there. All of our guys that were a member of the Seminole SWAT team, they were deployed for a couple of weeks minimum down there backing them when they were doing their search warrants and they were doing all their stuff. I mean, they were pulling people in from all over Central Florida, and we were on heightened awareness. We didn't know where this guy was going to go.
How long was he from the day
It was
that
about a week. He was,
one? Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
it was
full
crazy.
week.
But he had contacts in the city right next to us, and of course,
Sanford, I'll say it, whatever.
citizens are trying to do the right thing, and they see a little bit of information. They're like, "That I think that's the guy."
Right. Yeah, there's
So
always
you get a
going
lot
to be
of
a lot of
calls.
leads.
So you get a lot of calls. Well, because of how this all went down previously, we were every agency, if they were responding to a possible location of him, they're sending overwhelming response.
Yeah.
So it's like okay, well, we think we got him over here at 13th and Olive. So we're sending 40 cops to 13th and Olive.
Yeah.
And then it's
Oh, yeah.
no, he's down in Altamont. And,
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's a lot of resources
It is.
that you're putting in.
It is.
So, what do you think is going to happen, John? Death penalty?
That was my question.
I'm sorry.
It's my show. My
I
question. I think he will. Get
I wanted
the
you to
death
be the
penalty.
first one to answer that.
Okay. Well,
Well, hurry up and get to it because we're
Okay.
at 30 minutes.
all right. Who's going to get the death penalty? Ronnie.
No doubt. Death penalty on
I
this
think
case.
so too.
Death
But
penalty.
it's not really going to matter because it's going to be 20 years before he's put to death.
And that was my comment on Fox, was that us as taxpayers are going to have to pay for this sorry SOB to sit on death row for the next at least minimum 15 years and work out and play basketball and and just do whatever for 15 years.
I don't think they play basketball. I mean, not
They
let them out by themselves.
Not
From experience.
well, not from experience and not from being supportive of it. But I've been to death row, and it's they're locked up.
Yeah, but they let them out in the
But-
yard
but-
1 hour a day,
Yeah.
and they're allowed to go out there and do whatever, and we're paying for it. That's
No,
what
I
pisses
get it.
me
I
off.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And here's the way I think the justice system should be. You're convicted by a jury of your peers. You're allowed one appeal. Because, hey, crap can go wrong. I mean, stuff,
Absolutely.
you could be framed,
There's
whatever. I get
There's
it.
definitely circumstances where it's iffy, but
And there's
this ain't
people
one.
all the time getting off of death row
Yes.
or out of prison because they were wrongfully, back in the 50s, 60s,
Absolutely.
70s. Excuse me, before DNA and everything else. I get it. He's going to sit. I'm sorry, somebody said turn the volume up. Hopefully that's a little better. He's going to sit on death row. We're going to pay for it. And I think they should get one appeal. After that appeal is exhausted, I think that within 6 months, because that's all it should take for any wild evidence to pop up to change their mind, within 6 months, your ass should be taken to the gas chamber, to Sparky, to wherever it is, and put to your death. Done. But it won't happen that way. It'll sit there 15, 20 years. We've seen it in the past. How long did the one that killed all the college students,
Bundy,
how long did Bundy sit on death row?
way too long.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's insane. All of them. Of course, the cannibal, Dahmer,
He got jailhouse justice.
he got jailhouse justice, so hell yeah. All right, so Mike Wilson popped in and said, turn your volume up. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Dave Morgenstern popped in. I don't know if I said him earlier. Appreciate it.
What's up, Dave?
It's amazing the resources that go into ththese manhunts. I worked a murder of a police officer in Lake County, and friggin' everybody was just, and it was just amazing, all the resources that come to these, and they finally got them. It didn't take a week. I couldn't imagine how the main detective, and it's
Man, all the Can you imagine the commanders that are running these scenes and stuff? I mean, I ran a bank robbery scene one time, and I'm telling you, because I smoked back then, and it was a hostage situation.
Holy shit, you're on vacation. I was sitting on I-4.
I'm like, I had 2 cigarettes going at once, and I was like, and I think somebody, Eddie Rossi walks up to me and he goes, you're lighting another cigarette. And I said, yeah. And he goes, you got one in your hand. And I went, oh my God, dude, wow.
That was Dennis Leary there, huh?
It was crazy.
That was
It was
past
crazy. Yeah, that was nuts. But we got him, and nobody got hurt.
Yep.
Nobody got hurt. It was an amazing day. It was a win.
Okay, I guess we all agree. Markeith Loyd gets the death penalty.
Death penalty. Death penalty.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
No breaks for that POS. I'll get in Facebook jail again for that.
Yeah,
But, oh well, whatever.
again.
I heard somebody. Well, yeah, they gave me a warning.
For what?
Because I said that they should fire or plug in a little Sparky and fire up that POS. So whatever. I got a warning, so I'll probably be in jail after this. But
Yeah,
whatever.
that's all right.
That's okay. You got 2 weeks for the
You
next
know,
show.
it's just
There you go.
it's a real shame that there are people out there that we have to deal with.
Guys, hurry up and pop in real quick because we're getting ready to end the show here in just a couple of minutes. So we're going to take a break. We're going to move on to the next show after a little 15-minute break. We're going to do the second show. The second show is going to be on
Alec Baldwin and the shooting that he was involved in.
But pop in if you have a comment real fast. Hurry up and get it in there. We'll try to answer it for you real quick. If you have a comment on it, I did read a couple of them. He said, great job, 35 pounds. That's awesome. I totally agree with that. I think I mentioned everybody that popped in. So we're trying out the new cameras, guys. If you like the new angles, instead of just one camera facing everybody, let us know. If you think it was better the other way, you're not going to hurt our feelings. It's less work for me. I know the audio, we're having some issues. I don't know why. Some of you said at the beginning of the show it was echoing. I did turn off every other mic
that should not have been on, but they may have been. I'm kind of new at this OBS system. I'm kind of working it out. But let us know what you think. Hopefully I got that part squared away towards the end of the show. Not seeing any comments, guys, and they're coming through, I think, fairly quickly.
So Monday this will be on YouTube. So make sure and subscribe and like and share and all that good stuff.
And tell your friends to watch it.
Yeah.
Just try it out.
All you got to do on YouTube is just make an account to subscribe. It's very easy. You just give them your email. They really don't send you any emails at all other than a confirmation that you signed up for it, unless you start subscribing and hitting the notification button that you want to get notified when people are popping up and putting new shows on, like us. You really won't get any emails from YouTube.
And we're on Twitter now, too.
Twitter, yeah, we're on Twitter.
Instagram.
What's the other one? Spotify.
Yep.
We're on there.
Apple Podcasts.
So, on your way to work, if you've got a good drive to work, just pop it on, man. You can put on your Bluetooth on your phone, on your car, and listen to us. We appreciate it very much, but that YouTube is how we're going to end up making a little money, hopefully. We need to get over 1,000 subscribers before we can monetize this channel, and that's when we start making just a little tiny bit of money to pay for some of this stuff. We've already got like $500 or $600 wrapped into this thing coming out of our pocket, which we don't mind. We're having a blast.
I'm having a good time.
But it might help us a little bit. We appreciate it. All right, parting words.
John, great episode.
Thank you.
Very timely. That was really good.
Thank you for bringing it. Good job, John.
All right.
Parting words?
Just officers, stay safe.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Please watch your six.